Hello everybody, it's me again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, which has now gone past 60,000 video views and I've almost got 300 subscribers, which I'm fairly happy about. So today, what am I going to talk about? Well, it's the summer. France is starting to fill up with English tourists from far and wide. So, following on from a video I did a few months back called Les Français qui apprennent l'anglais, or the French people who learn English, I thought I'd do a little video about the different types of English people who live in and visit France. So, here it is. I hope you enjoy it. So, the first character, or the first personality of English people who live in France is what I call Booze Cruise Bob. Now, Booze Cruise Bob is somebody who is not particularly interested in France, doesn't know anything about the language whatsoever, knows virtually nothing about the culture, but has probably got a coupon out in the local newspaper to take his car over to France for a couple of days, stock up with booze, and just sort of drive around for a few hours and then get back on the ferry. So Booze Cruise Bob is personified by somebody I once saw on a cross-channel ferry. I was at the buffet. It was on the UK side. We went up to the buffet and they had various different kinds of food on offer, English food and French food. And the chef behind the counter who was serving the food said to the guy, bonjour. And the bloke completely ignored any kind of French and just replied, hello, fish and chips please. And I think that's enough said about Booze Cruise Bob. So the second character is Curious Chris. Now, Curious Chris has heard about France, knows that we have some unusual food over here, wants to try lots of different new things, wants to go and see all the main landmarks, so sets off to France, goes on a little visit, and wants to really take in the culture, enjoy the wine, enjoy the food, etc. So Curious Chris is really the kind of person who keeps the French economy going. So the next character is Straw Hat Pat. Now, Straw Hat Pat invariably comes from the home counties, has a pretty nice house in the UK, has a few bob in the bank, buys a nice little house in some rural corner of France, goes there for a couple of months of the year, gets on the plane with her husband, who's invariably got a blazer with a yacht club badge on the front, like an Alan Partridge type badge, loves to drink wine, loves to go out to restaurants, doesn't speak any French at all, makes very little effort to even attempt to learn the language, and just expects everything to sort of adapt around her. So, on one hand, yes, they're putting money into the French economy, but there is a certain cringe factor when I've gone to restaurants with people like this who make absolutely no effort whatsoever to try and speak French to anybody, and who just assume that everybody should speak English. So can get French people's backs up, but on the flip side, as I said, quite good for keeping the French tourist economy in business. Okay, so the next character is Wannabe Wendy. Now, Wannabe Wendy, I say Wendy because it is invariably a woman. Wannabe Wendy loves all things French, has learned the language, maybe learned at school, maybe at university, has possibly been a secondary school French teacher, wants so badly to be more French than the French, wears a little scarf, has sort of the French looking glasses, the French hairstyle, has a reasonably good level of pronunciation in French, apes all the mannerisms, all the things like that, sort of the Gallic shrug, etc, etc. Really wants to sort of fit in, and wants to try and distance themselves from your ordinary English people in France, and wants to stand out as somebody who is sort of integrated, or who is perhaps even more French than the French. Can be very nice people, occasionally can, again, rub some people up the wrong way. What makes me laugh with these kind of characters is that They really sort of try to mix together English and French. So when they're speaking, they'll drop in a little French phrase, because not because they don't know how to say something in English, but they'll do it because they think it makes them sound intellectually superior to their peers. So they'll try and use a little French phrase to try and sound like, you know, they're sort of really native and well versed in all things French. I sometimes do have difficulty not laughing when I come across these people, because from my point of view, as a professional linguist, there are two languages. There are English and French. If you're going to speak English, just speak English. If you're going to speak French, just speak French. But don't sort of try and mix the two together as if sort of it makes you sound more suave and sophisticated. So there we go. That's wannabe Wendy. Okay, the next character is Native Norman. Now, Native Norman is somebody who's been in France for a very, very long time, but has not just been living in France, has worked in France, has a French wife or a French spouse, has children in the French schools, has a job in France, speaks French all the time on a regular basis, and is more or less 100% assimilated into French culture. May or may not speak French with a very strong English accent. Some do, some don't. But in general, these people, they're not trying to, they haven't got anything to prove to anyone, they're not trying to show off to anyone. They've got their life, they set it up, they just get on with their lives, and they just function as an ordinary member of society. So, there we go. There's a Native Norman. So, the next character is Marital Mike. Now, Marital Mike is the spouse or the partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, etc. of somebody who has come to France not because they had any particular wish to, but because their partner has dragged them here or even just invited them here, and so they find themselves suddenly living in a foreign country. Now, generally these people are very enterprising. They arrive, they put a lot of effort into learning the language, to learning about the way the system works, to making friends in the local area. And they generally are a real pleasure to deal with. They're lovely people to meet, really interesting people, and they really treat people with a lot of respect, and they just get their head down and get on with the business of integrating into their new environment. So that's Marital Mike. Okay, the next character is Linguist Liam. Now, Linguist Liam is somebody who is a language student, somebody who just likes learning languages, could be university, Erasmus, etc., etc. Is somebody who comes to France with the express purpose of learning about the language, learning the culture, learning the way things work, and just really with the sole aim of improving their language skills. These people are generally very open-minded, make friends easily, get involved with lots of activities, and tend to progress quite quickly with their language skills. So that's Linguist Liam. So there we go. Here we have a few of the different characters that I've come across in France. English people visiting, living in and working in France over the course of the time that I've spent here working. So perhaps you can see yourself in some of these personalities, perhaps not. But be interested to hear your comments and perhaps any other kinds of people that you've come across. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for all the comments and all the information I've had from people. It's been really good. I've managed to talk to some really interesting people, and I hope to continue. So thanks very much, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.